Hello everyone, and now welcome to game number 2. Game number 2 taking place here on Twisted Meadows, as we see WFZ has spawned as the purple undead at what I'll call as 8 o'clock position. Meanwhile, all the way on the other end of the map at the 2 o'clock position, we have Infi spawning as the teal human. Human versus undead once more in this 1v1 matchup. WFZ in game number 1 really did a lot of unit switching and was able to transition away from ghouls into crypt fiends, and then from crypt fiends into abominations and destroyers, thereby making all of the advantage of riflemen pretty much moot. Also, the focus fire of the heroes from the Death Knight and that Lich able to slow down that Mountain King. The Mountain King didn't have enough durability and he ended up suffering terrible damage. Now, let's see what's going to be following here, as we are going to be opening up with a fast sped-built Altar of Kings. That Archmage is further along than the Death Knight, as you can see right here. Death Knight will be popping out here in just a moment, as we are already going into a graveyard for WFZ. We'll see if he stays at 20/20 supply for a very long time. He may try and do that in order to get to a faster tier 2. I believe he did that in game number 1, as the game is already underway, 1 minute and 45 seconds, and that Archmage will be out ready to go and, well, ready to take down this Goblin Laboratory. Goblin Laboratory does have a 64332 creep camp. Very high on the damage indeed, and even with a couple of ensnares, it is rather difficult to take out, as the militia are going to try and get into position. What they want to do is they want to get an ensnare while still within melee range. What does that mean? It means that the damage, or the damage from this militia, is not really lost. That militia was actually removed from the fight for a little bit of time, making it that much harder, as we do see a Tome of Intelligence and a Robe of Magi dropped down. Robe of Magi, Tome of Intelligence, mana already up to a 450 maximum, while still sitting at level 2. That is 8 mana over what it would normally be right now. And, well, that damage, you got to imagine, is also going to be significantly higher. Death Knight comes across, and he has a Rod of Necromancy, will be clearing up this 3/1/1 creep camp, but I don't know if he's really making that good use of his time so far. Acolyte wandering around, figuring out where exactly his opponent is. Does see this, but already down in the south. Archmage getting in some, well, high damage fireballs. That's all you can pretty much call them right now. Instead of 24 to 30 damage, his damage is actually 32 to 38. Significantly higher, 8 more damage per attack. And, well, that's all there pretty much is to say about that. Now, what is the Halls of the Dead showing? We are taking the tier 2. We are sitting at 20/20 supply again, as WFZ is trying to figure out how to slow down the creeping on this Archmage. Archmage, on the other hand, is already running back away. Footman doesn't know that the Death Knight is right here, and the Archmage is trying to clear out this creep camp and is going to end up getting spotted right here. Death Knight now wandering around, going to perhaps go for some easy targets. The militia do have a timed life here, so every moment that the militia are not attacking is damage lost. Death Knight should be coming across over here in just a moment. Archmage is still sitting fairly strong at this point, as the skeletal minions are going to get taken out. There goes a little bit of experience already once more. Now we see the peasants now trying to fight back again. 2 water elementals are in position. Another steal right there. And WFZ has just got his work cut out for him. A water elemental and 2 level 3 creeps have been cleared out already. All right, there goes one. Death Knight is the last unit to be left, as you see the engagement now going to be happening there. There it goes. Death Knight didn't even try and bother with the Death Coil, as we see a Ring of Regeneration has been picked up. Death Coil taking down another peasant there. Death Knight had a big window of opportunity to try and slow down his opponent. Instead, unable to do so, as the Archmage has that Ring of Regeneration, which will most likely get sold because, well, humans are able to access Priest so easily. Infi already setting up this Town Hall expansion here. Death Knight now going to venture forth once more. Is that one Death Knight? Yes, spotted. Here you go. Death Knight going to end up trying to get engaged. Archmage could have easily boxed out this one particular Death Knight, but instead the Death Knight's still able to wander around fairly freely right now. And I think really the big damage is coming across from this Archmage. The Archmage is dealing significantly more damage than I think than a normal game would have at this point. And because of that, it's actually throwing things off just a bit as this Peasant now needs to get away. Peasant down to 39 hit points. It's going to go inside that gold mine and then make its way back out. Beautifully microed there as you see Water Elemental getting in some, well, damage once more. Death Knight down to 138 hit points. Archmage does not have Boots of Speed, as you can see that the Archmage is just trying to get as much damage onto those units as possible. Archmage does have, well, a Ring of Regeneration, which is mitigating at least some of the damage that is being dealt. Water Elemental is going to get in position as well, as the Death Knight is far too low to really engage, and with no easy way to heal right now, is going to continue to have some problems. Lich making its rounds around right now. Archmage picking up a Goblin Shredder, needs to get a bit more lumber ready to go. We are only sitting at Town Hall, no upgrade to keep as of yet, so a definitive tech advantage by WFZ, but the Archmage has the hero advantage and has the economic advantage for now. Archmage still continuing that chase. Crypt Fiend's now looking to back off. What is going to be happening here? Water Elemental trying to get in a little bit more damage without giving that experience away. Let's take a look at this Death Knight. Now down to 250 hit points. More damage coming across. What are you doing? It looks as though the Archmage says, you know what? I am in an okay situation. I would gladly trade you my expansion if it means I get your main base. And if that is going to be the case, well, the Death Knight is going to be in serious trouble here. Let's take a look at this. Arcane Tower does get some damage onto that Death Knight. Death Knight loses a bit of mana. There goes the guard towers. Meanwhile, Archmage says, you know what? I'll go ahead and engage here right now. All right, Archmage ready to go. Level 2 Water Elementals. Level 3 Archmage with level 2 Brilliance Aura. Ring of Regeneration Footmen are just all flat out engaging as the Militia have made their way in from the north as well to engage. All right, the Peasants are now continuing this chase here. Damage on every which way. Lich now trying to get back. Second Water Elemental out onto the field. No Water Elementals for at least a little while longer as the Footmen are going after those Acolytes. Who is going to suffer more damage or critical damage first? That is the big question as the Peasants now need to get away. Crypt Fiend's getting in some easy shots here once more as the guard towers are being upgraded. All right, Death Knight now going to be venturing forth. Arcane Tower onto the Death Knight. Death Knight losing a lot of mana right now. That's going to be a bit of a problem as the Death Knight now down to 65 mana and dropping fairly fast. All right, there goes one guard tower. Meanwhile, Archmage is still engaging here. Does have defend on those Footmen, and defend on those Footmen makes it so that only the Lich sitting at level 1 is the majority damage dealer. All right, the Crypt Fiend could get taken out here. Why not? As you can see, the Footmen are going after all of those Acolytes. All right, Militia now being called in from the north again. Split attack, split action all the way as the Archmage is still sitting strong at, 200 hit points and getting a bit more experience again. All right, Lich has fallen at level 1. Crypt Fiend is, well, almost got surrounded there. The Crypt Fiends were able to unbox themselves once more. Militia back into that Peasant form here in just a moment as another Water Elemental does go down. All right, a second Water Elemental now down. Ghoul is getting finished off here. Archmage is continuing to get in all of that damage once more. Is that one Ghoul going to get taken out? Archmage down to 107 hit points, needs to get away, and will be able to do exactly that. Meanwhile, let's take a look. Acolytes all pretty much destroyed at this point. There goes another as this Acolyte tries to back off once again. All right, continuing this attack. One guard tower looks like it actually did get completed. Footmen with the Fen trying to fight back against all of those Crypt Fiends. Meanwhile, back across here, Ghouls doing a good job fighting back once more, but there is just no gold in this gold mine as the Archmage is going to, well, finish up what he started. Death Knight back down across here, taking a lot of arcane feedback damage. Guard tower in here as well. They are going to get upgraded. Are they going to get focused down? There is the GG. Infi taking game number 2 to tie up the series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.